welcome to another episode of More Than Dice. I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
I'm Captain Mizzy.
And we are on episode 262? Crap. We've been doing this for a while. We some old motherfuckers.
Speak for yourself.
As I looked at it, I first subscribed in December of 2017.
I don't remember how long we've been going. Shit, I'll have to look that up. We've been going for a long time.
Since around December of 2017.
Yeah. I have no clue. I'll have to look it up one day when we're doing this. But let's go and get to the business real quick because the business is good. We want to thank Midnight Heroes for sponsoring us. Make sure you check out. They do have a new Kickstarter going on with new STL models. And he is out. If you're going to see them next, I would suggest you head to ReaperCon is where they're going to be out next. They're going to be doing, they're going to have a booth there and selling their models and stuff and, super cool stuff. We want to thank Muse on Minis for hosting the channel. Make sure you check out their website. Use our link, and it's an affiliate link, and you can get some cool stuff. I know that they're doing a bunch of new things and new stuff for Marvel Crisis Protocol and stuff like that. I want to thank Parabellum War Games. If you like Conquest and want to play it, make sure you click the link below, and you can get 10% off your order. We want to thank Turbo Dork for the color shifting or turbo shifting paint.
Branding is important.
Branding is important. And Metallics, which we love so much. They're awesome. Mm-hmm. They will be at ReaperCon also. We want to thank Creature Caster for sponsoring us also. I will be doing some more painting these last few weeks, of course, with surgery and everything. I just couldn't do it. So with this Thursday, I'll get back to doing some paintings on stream and getting stuff done. I need to prep all my Judgment models I'm going to be playing with so I can have that ready. So whenever I go to convention, all I have is, Judgment's only 7 models. Come on. So, I don't have to worry about too much. Although I am waiting for one model, but I am going to, paint the models I have that I know I'm going to use for my Judgment games until that other one comes out. And then
I will be waiting for my Minotaurs.
Your minnows.
My Minotaurs.
Minnows. And then I'll be doing some more printing. I did, for anybody, their newest, whatever they call it, on My Mini Factory Tribe or whatever, which is their, Patreon type thing. You get, a D&D module, the 5th edition module with it. And so they had a new Minotaur.
Nice.
I upscaled this by about 50% just to make it big because I wanted it. But I'm actually going to use this as a comparative to my new printer because my new printer is this is a 6K screen that printed this, which is really good still. There's nothing wrong with it. But the new one I got is going to be a 12K screen, and I just want to see what the difference is. See if I really see an actual difference. Type thing.
Man, Gonzo, I thought by now you upgraded to a 40K screen.
Hey, Banyan, $20. But, so I'm going to paint that one. I'm going to work on that model too, with the Judgment stuff using, of course, the Cuttlefish colors, which I have the entire line of, and just give you a quick idea of what I've been dealing with on them. They're a sketch and glazing system, and I'm not a sketch and glazer type thing. I've never learned. Good shout out to good old Rainer72. That's been giving me little hints and stuff about sketch and glazing. But I will tell you right now, I use the glazes a lot for highlighting. They work very, very well for highlighting. Because
it's almost like what a glaze is supposed to do.
Correct. Except for now, I don't have to mix it. It's already mixed for me.
No, I'm looking forward to trying them out. I hope to get back to painting here soon. It's just been tough.
Yeah. Which is something that we're going to talk about and everything about the show. But before we do that, we got other things we got to attend to. Do we have any shout-outs this week?
Yes.
Who do we got?
Legion just knows that the lyricist from Fiddler on the Roof, Sheldon Herrick, died. He was 99.
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing that. And 99, that's
a good run.
That's a good run.
Indeed.
One of my locals, friends, and former coworkers at Games Workshop, Dirty Steve, passed. He was photographer for White Dwarf here for a very long time um, while Games Workshop was still in this area. Um, he's just a great dude. It sucks to have another one go so young, but he's. I always, as I joke with somebody, I'm like, why is it always the nicest guys, the nicest people, not the fucking your friends are assholes? It's always the nice ones.
And douchey people.
Not the my friends, just But so.
We got any other Captain Mizzy? Got any other?
Not that I can remember or that I'm aware of.
Not that I remember either. All right. Question of the 40th century. John, what are you drinking?
I've got Kraken rum with some root beer.
Okay. Captain Mizzy?
Not bad. I have Gatorade, strawberry kiwi, and water. Because health.
Health is the thing. I'm doing the good old water again. I'm still waiting on my blood test results. They have like 2 more tests to come back through before I can go see my new doctor. So I'm sticking to water, but I am off of like most of my medications that they told me to take, and they said stop taking them. Let's work on something else, and I'm like, okay. But FYI, it was just a steroid. They're like, we don't want you taking steroids forever, so let's get you off steroids and just get some good vitamin in you and shit like that. So nothing big, type thing. So I'm doing the H2O.
I'm even going to start off with a shot of Kraken straight. I don't actually have a shot glass, so I'm drinking it straight from the bottle.
Straight from the bottle.
You're measuring with your heart, John.
Guys, as always, we appreciate you being here. We appreciate you listening no matter where or when you do it. Make sure that if you see something, you say something. If you can do something, do something. If you can't, find someone that will. Cheers.
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 Oh, it's still good and cold.
That's right, Benny. I measure by the week you've had.
Heart weak. I mean, it's all intertwined somehow.
So, this was brought up. Captain Mizzy brought this topic up to us, and I thought it was an interesting one because we really don't think about it until it happens, or until it usually happens to you or someone else or whatever. But community means a lot to us gamers, whether we like it or not, and whether we freely admit it or not. Just this week, I was talking to an old friend of mine, Corey, in Canada, and he says that their group is upticking in War Machine right now. They're not days, but it is getting bigger and more people are playing and people are getting back into it. And I was like, that was good. And he said this one guy, pretty brand new, to the game, started playing and such, and they asked him, hey, we're when we get done playing, you want to go eat dinner with us? And the guy was like kind of flabbergasted, and he's like, what? And he's like, yeah, we're done playing. You want to go, have dinner with us and stuff. And he was like, this is the first group that's ever asked me to go eat dinner with them. He says, I've played 40K, played X amount of games, but that was one of the first times in this group that people do that. And I know that it's a tradition usually with a lot of us convention goers, a lot of people hanging out, that when you're done with the event or you're done with the tournament or whatever, you go hang out after the fact.
You like to meet friends and like to eat.
It's not even just miniature gaming. We used to, way back in the day before I even really played miniature games, we'd all hang out and then let's go get dinner, and we'd raid the local Denny's or some such shit.
Yeah. And it got me thinking because Captain Mizzy brought it up, and it was interesting that conversation I had with Corey this week is the same thing. Is we're all into a bunch of nerds. We're all doing nerdy shit. We're all getting together. We got to find our group type thing. And finding our group consists of doing things that are not nerdy groupy things either. Like hanging out and going to eat dinner together and just chilling and relaxing. And just sitting around and putting together miniatures or something of that nature. So I just thought that was interesting. And Captain Mizzy had brought it up. So I'm going to go and switch to the paint cam while we're doing this and get everything going. That way I can get my models. And I'll show off my paint scheme too. So
I'm more intrigued by watching Gonzo manually move the camera around. Extreme close up. So, while you're showing off your paint scheme, my first thought on this topic is actually a funny thing. Is that I read an article a while back about the quote unquote third place that everyone needs one. You know, you have home, work, and then you need a third place.
Yeah.
And then, you know, COVID and stuff has actually ruined that for some people. That's why a lot of people just go to the bar. That's their third place. Well, for us gamers, our third place is kind of the game store, but not all game stores are, you know, open to, you know, eating and stuff. That's why we sort of always have shared our third place as like, you know, game store or wherever we hang out, then go get somewhere like a good sit down restaurant and just chill and talk. That's our version of the bar, kind of. You know, we sort of split it between the playing games and all, because, you know, you can't. Some stores are nice, let you eat there if you clean up. Not everyone cleans up, fuckers. But,
fuckers.
And then, yeah,
We can
that's
all
why they
agree
don't
on
let
that.
you eat there. But that's sort of why we've evolved that way we have, I think, is because it's sort of we split our third place between two places, and it's not necessarily two same places.
Yeah.
Legion, the pandemic messed up everyone's LGS for that.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's LGS. I mean, we haven't recovered yet. I saw someone recently post that for the first time in a very long time, they went to the doctor and everyone didn't have to wear a mask. And they were surprised. So that, you know, a doctor, you know, that's been like that, that doesn't require a mask is sort of a real sign that we're coming out of it.
Correct. Which is interesting because so my work, anytime we have like a symptom or whatever, we have to do like a little form or, you know, to say what it is. And sometimes they're like, okay, you can go to work, but you have to wear a mask. So
I wear a mask when I feel sick now.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm a little snotty or whatever. I'll wear a mask. Hey, all those Asian countries cannot be fucking wrong about that. You get people packed together, just wearing a mask becomes common courtesy. You're not centered, Gonzo.
Oh, sorry.
You're a little low.
Low. Just watching up the bass real quick.
Yeah. I figure people want to see what you're doing, not just guess or assume.
It makes an ass out of you and me.
Well, I mean, Legion, you're kind of in a weird area, let's say.
Where does Legion say he's at?
I mean, he's the same weird area you're at. Arkansas.
Oh, fucking A.
Like, when someone says, oh, hey, the South, we're not wearing masks, I'm not really shocked. Sorry.
No.
That's fair.
I mean, let's not get political, because anything I say of this is going to become political, and let's skip it. Anyway,
We're not that serious here. We're here for apism.
I cannot address it without becoming political. It's not worth it at this point. Anyways, continue.
No, I was saying that, you know, I was agreeing with you because there's a lot of after events that should be happening that you and I would say you should be doing, but I mean, it adds to that, you know, that community thing. There is something about hanging out while not playing the game.
Yeah. So going out to eat afterwards has always been a tradition with us, and it makes it different than just a day of gaming.
Correct.
You know, day of gaming is a day of gaming. Maybe you go out and eat, maybe you don't. Maybe it's just your regulars. But going out after gaming, you know, like after a tournament, that's like because you get new people. That's sort of the thing. Hell, I met not Brushhead Dave and No Nickname Frank and Jeff Wallix. After like a tournament at Games Workshop, we had just sort of all played each other here or there. I kind of knew the guys. We all just went out to lunch together at the local Pizza Hut that's no longer there, and friendships from there.
Yeah,
Here we are, fucking 25 years later, quarter of a century.
and the interesting part is, I thought that was like a standard thing people did, and then I was like, no, they don't. I'm like, really?
Really? Well, I mean, it makes sense because I mean, when we went out to the ATC, the first one, we're sitting there, and me and my crew are sitting there eating, and then Rob Bear comes into the restaurant, the bar, and he says hi because I know Rob Bear, and I come by and talk to him, and then like his crew isn't the same thing. They're like secular. They're like not interacting with me. Rob is, but no one else is. So I guess it's not necessarily the standard.
I mean,
It's really weird, but we used to do it. I mean, we've had lots of good memories. Hell, even at the ATC after the War Machine crew got done with their part, the first ATC we went to, we all went to like this place called Samurai's, I think it was in Tennessee. That's basically just like where they grill the stuff in front of you potentially. But they have actually a big kitchen and stuff. We just took over the back room and just walked around, chat each other, just sat there and had a great time afterwards. It was a good it in my eyes, it elevated us compared to the other games, which didn't seem like they were having that same sort of camaraderie.
yeah, I mean, because even if it was somebody that you played in a tournament and they beat you or whatever, it didn't matter. It wasn't like this big
It's not like it's
hoopla.
personal.
No,
It's a game.
It's a game. They were like, yeah, you kicked the shit out of me. And they're like, yeah, and then people either talked about the games, or what I really liked is when people caught up with their life and like, hey, how's the work been? How are the kids, etc.,
Well,
etc.
yeah, for the tournaments, originally it was, and tournaments sort of started. Internet wasn't as widespread as it is. I mean, nowadays you can contact people so easily, and it wasn't that long ago. But like, you didn't have the same ease of contact because you weren't necessarily all Facebook or Twitter or what have you. So you get together and you sometimes you just see those people for the big tournaments, the monthly tournaments. They come down, you drive an hour or whatever, have dinner afterwards, you hang out, you catch up with the people you don't get to see too often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does surprise you that not everyone's like that, but I think really when you think about it, a lot of people do it just in different ways. I know a lot of people, tales of my mom, her and her coworkers going out after a shift and having dinner together, or lunch or breakfast together, technically speaking. But lots of tales of that. So maybe it's a regional thing. Because like to me, it's like it just seems like it's what you do.
Yeah, that's to me. It seems like just what you
Not
do.
doing it seems crazier than doing it. Like, wait, you don't do that?
I mean,
we
out.
even still, yeah, it's honestly these days a lot of times it's more about the hanging out, less about the actual gameplay potentially.
Yeah.
At Marshall's we had a slow day. It was sort of weird. His family was out of town, so he played a game in Necromunda against the Jason, and then me and not Brushhead Dave and Bowie did the Marvel Crisis Protocol encounter, and then we all went to a local restaurant and had lunch together and chilled for a bit. It was cool. I mean, when they say it, and obviously it's cliche, life doesn't get any better than that. It really doesn't from a basic standpoint. Hanging out with your friends, playing some games, and going having some good food and chilling. That's a good life.
Well, it's also something that, people understand. It's that
Your
wind down
really
period.
sketchy.
Do what?
Your focus is very sketchy. It's all the parts you're painting's out of focus.
Yeah, I moved it around.
The gun's in focus, and the sword is it's going through its things.
That's not my fault.
No, it is not.
No.
Nothing tonight was your fault. I'm going to blame Gonzo for all of it. Because I got your back.
Whatever.
See,
Well-
and that's what I like about having a community is that they have your back no matter what.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Gotta have your friends. Gotta have your support network. When life is trash, you have your friends to support you and get you through the bad stuff.
Yep. I mean, I think some wise man once wrote, "You get by with a little help from your friends."
Hanging high with a little.
Just saying, wise words.
Uh-oh. Battery died.
And
Sorry.
and I would, oh Jesus. And I would actually say it's actually super important to have your friend network around all the time when you're doing stuff because it helps. You know, when I need to bounce something off, I've got Banyan really close usually. Bowie's in the area. All those guys are in the area. If I need, help to get through something mentally, life's fucking trying sometimes. I've got those guys
Yup.
there. I can bounce stuff off El Marshall. He's always happy to help me out with that. But you got to have that, and that's how you build those friends, by going out and just making connections. I couldn't imagine going to like a tournament or something and not going to dinner or something afterwards, not having a meal afterwards. That's sort of the fun, and I think that's where certain things have gone wrong in the world. It's all come in, do your thing, leave, go back home.
Yeah.
You need to decompress a little bit, or you become super wound. Even after a game, you super wound up. You start thinking about all the errors you made. That's sort of like was the thing I noticed about the two ATCs we played. The first one was very much camaraderie. We all went out together afterwards and chilled. No one was. And then the second one was we got it, and then everyone went away. Like there was no, like we just went and found meals ourselves, which was fine. It wasn't the same.
Yeah.
And I
And it's
think it
good
makes
to-
it good.
I was gonna say it's good to have the communities outside of in person as well. Like having an online friend group as well
Yeah,
really helps.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean that's what we do in MWO. People are like, "Oh God, you guys are dropping the try." No, we just want to play a video game with friends. Sometimes we'll be in the chat and people will be playing 3 different games. It's fine. Sometimes
Wow.
you need that. I mean, people.
Yeah.
Certain people scoff at online friends, but I mean, online friends are still friends. That's the new world. You got to get used to that. I mean, how many times have I met Gonzo in person?
Shit. Once?
Yeah, vaguely once.
Once?
Fake.
I think he was playing a game and I was wandering through because I had missed the beginning of that particular tournament.
Ah, I see.
Me and Legion.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever met Legion in person. Maybe in passing I don't even know if we did that at War Machine Weekend back then, but we're good friends. We haven't met in person. You don't need that anymore. I'm going to say this is the general thing. Don't let other people define how you can have friends and relationships. Because you know what? It's not for them to decide. It's for you.
It's not
your
their business.
life. You live it. It's none of their fucking business.
Unless they're your friend, it ain't no business. And even then,
Yep.
what kind of friend do you want to have that doesn't think that? Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean,
Words.
remember when the friend who makes you choose between friends is not actually the friend.
Indeed.
That is important. Like, you can build a community many ways. Like the online community, there's a lot of communities out there. I see people, like, I'm not posting most of those Facebook groups anymore, but I'm still on them. You see a bunch of people like replying directly to them, and you can tell those guys have camaraderie and everything. Legion, I own the airbrush. I just have to set it up. I've owned it for years, at least 2 years. We need to set it up, and that's actually technically Banyan installed. I'm going to kick that down the line to Banyan.
Damn it, Banyan.
Granted, we're getting stuff together. It's just, it's tough.
But again, if we didn't give Banyan crap, he wouldn't know that we loved him.
Yes, we're the friends he deserves, not the friends he wants. Oh. But yeah, that all that stuff is super important, I think, to gaming. That's how you get. That is why I'm going to say back in the day, the War Machine crew was the best. That's why they were better than the 40K guys, because they didn't do the same thing. They didn't have that camaraderie. It was much more adversarial and not friendly, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
They weren't enemies, but they took it a little too much. That's why back then they said that, like, oh, it's a much better community. It was much better community, and there's certain ones that are. Nowadays, I'm not sure any of them really are. They're much smaller. Their general communities are kind of shit. I've seen that in multiple communities now, be it fandoms, miniature gaming, role-playing gaming, video gaming, fucking action figures. Any of the communities that I come in and out, there's a lot of people who are just fucking asshats.
Very clickish too.
Very cliquish. But that's a human nature. That's why people get so much into sports and all. They have suddenly people in their quote unquote tribe who they have a common connection with. And they just take it too far. Yeah, Legion, it was much more important for 40K guys to dunk on their opponents than it was to make a community. And it's sad, you know. Sad that no one showed them the way. They didn't have that, you know. We had that, you know. There was no super secret tech in War Machine and Hordes. It was, oh, look at this totally busted thing I'm going to play before PP fixes it. And that's the way it should be. There's no super. I had someone say that on a MWO board. They're like, hey, I'm like, hey, I'm just trying this thing. I was like, well, don't keep the tech to yourself. Share it. I'm like, dude, if it was good, I would share it. But I understand where you're at. I appreciate that idea that there is no super secret mech tech. You just fucking share it. I want to share the stuff. Look at this crazy thing I created.
Look at my shenanigans.
That's how all the best ideas happen. You know, do you think all the best inventions ever in life were one person? I made it entirely from start to finish. Oh no, they said, look at this thing I created, and someone's like, you could do this and it would be better. And then it just goes from there. That's how science fucking happens. You want to hear firsthand about that? Listen to Adam Savage's rant on Tested on YouTube of how he and Jamie used to come up with things. He had a thing he said, just the one I just watched recently, where he said, you always champion your idea, but, you fight for your idea, it's your idea. But when someone suggests the right idea, in your heart, you fucking know it, and then you just give up your idea because that's the right one. You know?
Yeah.
Why don't we do it this way? But this way's easier and better. Like, oh, well, shit, let's do it that way. This way's easier and better. Who cares? They say, who cares to get the credit? People I always want to be the one who invented something. Well, I made Slapchop. Fucker, you did not make Slapchop. Slapchop existed in a different name way before your fucking ass started painting. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. They want their claim. They want to be their
trendy thing.
Yes, indeed. They want to be their Duncan Rhodes claim to fame, not realize that Duncan Rhodes got his claim to fame, but just being Duncan Rhodes. Not everyone's cut out for that. You all want to be the next big thing, but you know what? It's not going to happen.
Not gonna happen.
So don't worry about that. Share your ideas. That's where it's at. That's why I share all the ideas I have. I don't want to hoard knowledge. There's no bonus to hoarding knowledge. Knowledge hoarded by one person isn't actually fucking knowledge. It's a secret. And those things are totally different. I want to share it. No secrets, no. Well, if you want to go by the movie, too many secrets.
Oh, man.
And a brownie point for whoever gets that movie.
Yep. I'll take the brownies.
I figured you'd know that one. It's one of my favorites, actually.
Saw that in the theaters.
I did not. I wanted to, but didn't get to. But then I saw it on home video, and I was like, fucking, this movie is good.
It was very, very interesting.
Yes. Anyways. So I think your community is important for your mental health, for your spiritual health. And I don't mean religious. Spirit and religion are fucking different.
Spirit, religion, and faith are two different things.
Yes.
3 different things.
Because your spiritual health there are times when you are just fucking tired, but it's not physical. It's not mental. It's just you can't handle anymore. It's not. You can't quantify it. It's there.
Yep.
And you've got to have all those together, and your group helps you with that. Not to mention, also, you should get a group to the point good enough where they can call you on your bullshit. Banyan, Bowie, all those guys can call me on my bullshit, and occasionally do, and it helps. May not think it helps at the time, but it helps, You don't know that you're at that point necessarily sometimes unless they tell you. They've always been. My friends have always told me that. And I appreciate it very much. And you want to get that point with your whole group, where the guys you just play games with once a week, twice a week, like, hey, man, are you okay? You seem a little off. That's showing that you have a community and they care. That is good. That is what we should be. You cannot get by yourself, no matter how strong you are. And if you need to be strong for yourself and for others, you need that group more to bounce ideas off, to get, they'll recharge your spirit when you can't.
Yup.
Or they'll be like, hey, you got to cut this shit out of your life. So that's why it's important to get that group. However you get it. Don't care how you get it. In person, cool. Online,
As long as you got it.
cool. As long as you got it, because you need it. And if you don't got it, you kind of got to face it. I mean, you gotta find it somehow. Maybe you have and you just don't realize you have it. But hopefully you do.
And if you don't have one and you want one, you know how to find us.
Yeah,
Which-
absolutely. We are. Oh, I'm sure Gon was going to mention. I was about to kind of mention that we're working on a Discord. It's just taking time because I don't have time to just put into it right this moment. Also, doesn't help that Gonzo changed everything. I actually changed while I was in the middle of playing video games. Not intentionally by any stretch.
And it was like, hey, we need to change this, and I was like, okay. I didn't know that John had changed it already.
It's funny because quick story time. On Discord, there are two types of threads. There's the just constant stream of people commenting threads. And then there's one where we make little subtopics. I'm like, hey, we need some of the constant threads. So we changed all the ones that I thought should have little subtopics and would be good that I'd fixed to the constant threads. The ones I thought should be constant threads, he kept as subtopic threads. I don't understand it. It is actually funny. I'm not like angry. It's actually funny.
But with
Yeah, Legion, we
that,
don't have any in the Ninja's Discord yet. But there are ones where you can go. It becomes sort of like an old school forum. You talk
Correct.
about it. I know Legion, you're not on there, but the No Guts No Galaxy forum has for like mech builds. They go, hey, make a topic. Hey, builds for X mech, and then we'll talk. We'll post under there. So the idea was, games rather than having just one big thread and you're talking about 10 different games at once. Hey, we're going to talk about War Machine here. Boom, and then you can talk, and it's all on a self-contained little subtopic. That we don't have a bunch of channels clogging you up. You have a channel that has subtopics like tabletop war games, then subtopics. But
yes.
it's coming slowly. Don't expect it soon.
Yeah.
I'm working on
in
it between
progress.
drops and BattleTech Advanced.
But I mean, it's going to be a small little place, and we're not going to we're not expecting 8 million people or whatever.
No,
But it's going to be kind of us locals, kind of us, more than dice people, just a place to hang out, post pictures.
yeah. Occasionally we might just stream something there. Just as a little, we're not streaming everywhere. Just I might drop MWO and stream on that real quick. If I'm not dropping with my group or anything, just so you guys can see it. But that's like literally that is part of it. Find those Discords. If you have a streamer you like and you watch all the time, hopefully it's us. But if you have another one you like all the time, maybe a little bit less than us. If they have a Discord, get on there. Like there's a
those
Discord.
crazy folks over in the Pyro Club.
Exactly. But if there is there's a streamer that I follow, No Guts No Galaxy. He does mostly MechWarrior Online, but a bunch of other things occasionally. Focuses off of King Gonzo, just so you know. But
Oh, it's
I'm on
gonna
his
be funny.
Discord a lot because he made a good community out of that. You know, a community good enough that when somebody there had a friend pass, he posted there, and we helped him out. And then I've used that thread more times than I fucking wanted to this year.
Mood.
Yeah. So, that you might find that, and it might be what you need. It might help you with your life. Just people there who understand. Because most people there are willing to listen. You're going to find people who aren't necessarily people you want to talk to. The bigger the Discord, the more likely. The bigger the group, the more likely you're going to find people you don't agree with. It's okay. You don't have to agree with all the people. Just ignore those fuckers and move on.
Find your friends.
Like, I love to say that there's a couple guys in that Discord that I like that I know are a certain way. And, I just, ignore the fucker and move on. I don't got to interact with that fucker. Sometimes they may even post something you like. It might just be, people are people, They all have different views. They may not like what you like. And some of the things they don't like, they may not understand it because they're selfish. Humans are selfish by nature. Don't ever confuse yourself. That's why Mother Teresa is a fucking saint, because she was not selfish by nature. She is different than the rest of humans as not being selfish by nature. And it's okay if you're selfish. It's hard to not be selfish. That's why being selfish and philanthropical, it's a big word when I'm drinking, is really so amazing, because it's not human nature. Because remember, the first thing people say when they get rich, they're like, I'm going to buy all these things for me. And then some of them are like, I'm going to buy these things for my family. Those are all good, noble. That's fine. But you rarely get people who are like, I'm going to donate a lot of money to this fucking charity, So, I mean, it's good to just remember that stuff when you get into a community. Yeah, Bean says, where I think we, not this community, but global we, have to disagree on an idea and not make it personal. Asterisks. There are certain ideas that one of the sides is so categorically wrong on that you can't just disagree. I can agree to disagree on opinions. Oh, you like X movie, I don't. Let's say, maybe you think, I'm going to pull a movie at random here. I was actually going to pull a different movie at random here. Ready Player One is terrible.
Yeah, that's random, all right, fucker.
We can agree to disagree. It's fine,
Yeah, it was so random that John and I had the same idea.
Banyan hates Kung Pao. I can't fathom it. That movie's fucking hilarious, but
it's fuck awful, and I will not be making apologizes for that.
That's fine. We can agree to disagree. But there are certain things that aren't agree to disagree.
Yes.
And you just have to be ready in any forum, any community, to cut that person out. If you're on Twitter, block that fucker and move on. Maybe just mute him if you don't feel that mad. You just don't want to hear that fucker ever again. Depends on how egregious the thing they say is. If you're on Discord, you can do the same thing. If you're in person, you can do what my boy Not Brushhead Dave does when the guy he fucking hate comes up and talks to me. Dave just turns and doesn't face the guy and doesn't interact with him. Doesn't leave because he's hanging out with me. Waits till the conversation's done, then we walk off. It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. Seems childish, but it's actually the exact opposite. It is hey, I'm hanging out with John. John's here. I'm not going to leave because we're hanging out at a convention. But I don't want to talk to this fucker, so I'm just going to turn my back so he doesn't speak to me. It also gets the point across pretty blatantly of how he feels. It's great. But, people say you're being childish. You're not being childish. There are certain people you're just never going to agree with. It's okay. People who you just don't like. Maybe they wronged you in a past life. It's hard to tell. There's a story like my ex-wife. There was one of her old boyfriends. I don't know what it was, but I fucking hated the guy. He was no threat, like romantically or anything. I just did not like the guy. Couldn't explain it. Oh, Gonzo, fuck your first meow. Missy, we are fucking slacking.
Fucking A. Who did that?
Xander, because he's amazing.
Yes,
so remembered. I've been slacking because I've been putting Space Marines together, and I've put 9 out of 10 in this unit together. since we have started. I'm pretty proud
Awesome.
of that.
Well, I'm gonna let
I
someone
have
else take the
something to show
conversation
for
for a
my
second
work.
because I have to pee.
So, Mizzy, you are on a couple of Discords and everything, and you actually do other things with people that I don't do anything with them, but
Right.
Pyro Club is one of them that you do stuff with on a regular type thing.
Yes.
And what is it usually that you do with them?
So the Pyro Club actually introduced me to the Litching Hour, and every Friday night the Litching Hour streams what they call Fruit Soup, and it's where we can that they stream if you know you're friendly with the community, then they put you in their Discord, and there's a special channel where you can get the code to join the games. Um, and so I hang out with them on Friday nights. I haven't lately because life has been crazy, but this last Friday, while I was putting together my Sea King model, I just jumped in there, and uh, it was really good to hang out with them and catch up on the shenanigans and just relax, type of thing. Um, and then the Pyro Club does their own stuff regularly as well, like Kobolds every other Friday night. Um, and what else do they do? They do so much. Um, they have their Monday night hangout parties where they hobby. Um, and it's just good to have that friend group there.
Hmm.
So
Like anyone, like if you have, I mean, unjokingly, if you have any Twitch you follow and they have a group and you enjoy those people, hang out. All those people want to create communities more than they want to make money. I would dare say they want to make a community.
oh, I almost forgot. They also do prop nights on Thursday nights with the Litching Hour, Little Bones, Pyro Club, and three or four other people where they just get into this community server and just play the game for
Yeah,
several hours. It's just nice to have.
yeah. Well, I mean, look at the guys who play, WoW or whatever. They get a whole group together and they just play and have fun. If that's
Yeah.
what you need, find it. It's
Do
out
it.
there, I swear. But you have to be proactive on it a little bit.
Hmm.
So I was, when we were in our first MWO group, I was the morale officer. It was my job to take down names of people who we liked, who we played with well, to see if they wanted to join, just to have fun. Now, we don't quite play enough anymore for me to do that, but I've thought about it a couple times. The guy does that. We had a guy like, hey, how do you join a group? And I'm like, well, you just sort of find a group of people and sort of pester them for an invite.
You start hanging out. You join
Yeah.
Discord, and you start talking, and you show up and do things.
Friend people in the game. Most games that are online or something have a friend function. Friend them just so you see when they're online. Like MWO has just a friend thing. Like you friend somebody, you can just message them like, "Hey, you want to join a group? We got a 4-man going, a 3-man going. We need a fourth. Cool, jump in." That's like literally how my first group in MWO was. It's just a random person was like, it found me in a game. Like, that guy seems like he's got his head on straight. He friended me and was like, "Hey, I'm starting a group. Want to join?" I'm like, "Well, fucking sure, I'll join. That sounds good."
Hell yeah.
I still see one of the guys that used to drop with that. It's fun. That's how you build a community. That's how I built my online friend community. Started off with it's sort of two different things colliding. It started off with the herb guys for MechWarrior Online. Then we sort of split into two groups because some of them are politically challenged. I think it's a nice way of saying it. But then the rest of us just want to have fun and just there. And we grab more people as it comes in. And Legion joined and all. It's super fun. But you got to find those groups that you need.
Yes.
And if you don't have those groups right now, I'd say you need to take a hard look at your life and see if you need them. Maybe you don't. I'll be honest, I need those groups more since I was divorced than before. Maybe you've got that whole family. You don't need it. It's all good. No one's going to judge you for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of life, You got to find what you need. And don't necessarily let us define what you need either. We're just giving advice. You may, like I said, you may not need it at all.
Good
People
for
are
you.
all different.
I'm happy that you don't, but if you do,
Yes. You know where
you've
we
got
are.
options.
You know, I jokingly say, and it's not really a joke, I'm an emotional support human. If people need help, I'm here to help,
Yes.
regardless of what bullshit's going on in my life. And let me tell you, it's been very bullshitty recently, but still happy to chat with people and, you know, try and make it better. Not to say I'm going to have the words, not to say anyone is ever going to have the words, but sometimes you just want someone to listen. I can do that. Find that person who can listen to you, you know? You gotta, you know, your community is self-defined, what you need from a community. And hey, if there's a community there and you need something more from it, talk to the guy who's in charge. Say, hey, I think it'd be great if we did this thing. You know, maybe if you're playing a miniature or computer game, maybe you need tournament practice once a week, maybe every other week, maybe once a month. Talk to them. Say, hey, I'd like to see this. They don't know unless you say something.
Nope.
I mean, it's physics, but you know, an object in motion tends to stay in motion. An object at rest tends to stay at rest. You know, so think about that when you're going stuff. So like, how they've been doing stuff is probably okay for them. So Gonzo, it's funny you're clearing up that little bit you made a mistake on, but it looked like it was a perfect second, like partial circle there. It looked great. Maybe it's just the camera view, but I was like, that looks great. Oh, that wasn't intentional.
No,
But don't neglect rest. Yes, don't neglect rest. That's part of life, Legion. I mean, don't hesitate to take a break from a game, even if you can be in the community and not play the game.
Yup.
Like even the Mokes, I'm not going to call them toxic, but one of the streamers I occasionally watch is a bunch of comp players more. They're reacting like comp players do. They're not bad guys. Most of them understand if people are just having fun, as long as you're trying hard. I mean that in the good way, not the bad way. But some of them are like, I haven't played the game in 6 months, but they still come in and hang out because they like the people they chat with. You know? Communities start off for something and then can end up meaning so much more than that. Again, remember, one lunch at Pizza Hut, and now, you know, Not Brushhead Dave and Frank are two of my best friends. You never know when that happens. You know, and it's hard for some of us. Some of us aren't super outgoing.
That's why we have friends like Gonzo.
Yeah, despite the fact I'm a customer service manager, I don't fucking like people. Jesus Christ, I don't want to talk to people when I get done with work. Sometimes I get home and Banyan wants to talk and I don't even want to talk. That's the way it is sometimes. That doesn't mean that you don't need people who are ready when you're ready. And the good communities will be there, you know?
Yes.
I'll be honest, I miss a lot of our War Machine Hordes community because it was a lot of good people. But, you know, we all sort of move along, and that's life. Don't try and... When the direct motion of life is taking you away from something, don't necessarily fight it too hard. Because sometimes you want to. Like, I don't want to... I'm going to talk to those friends. You can still talk to those friends. But if you don't want to play War Machine anymore, don't force yourself just because you want to relive that. You can't. You know the saying, you can't go back? You can't. Won't be the same. You know? You listen, was it Billy Joel, Scenes from a Italian Restaurant? The whole thing ends with, you know, they went back to the place that you could never go back again. It's absolutely fucking true. You can't. You've just got to pick up the pieces and move on. It won't be the same. Nostalgia is a motherfucker. It'll make you think, even if it is exactly the fucking same, your mind will go, it's not the same because it was better back in the day. That's why old people are so cranky. Right, Gonzo?
Yep, motherfucker.
But yeah, because, you know, your nostalgia is, and you have to fight that. You know, you got to roll with punches. You got to be ready for change. Life is change. You can try and keep it the same as much as you can, but you move on with things. Like, let's be honest, there's multiple times I've found a game like, this is the game for me. I'm never going to play another game. Fucking, I don't play half of those games anymore. More than half. Like, it just happens, you know?
Yeah.
You just roll with the punches. Try and,
Makes me think of the Offspring song, "Let the Bad Times Roll."
I would say there's a sign at work. It's one of those motivational signs. It's don't be sad because it ended. Be happy because it happened. That's wisdom.
That's actually something.
Because you can
that happened in
focus on the
Tulsa.
negative, but don't. Just don't focus on the negative. You know, you had good times. That's cool. Don't reminisce. Don't live in the past. I mean, I'll go elsewhere. I'll go to Star Wars. You know, bury the past. Kill it if you fucking have to. They didn't use the fucking. I did. You know. Because sometimes you just need to get away from that past. It's over. Maybe you can salvage something from it. Maybe you can't. A little down low, Gonzo. You're a little high.
Yeah, I do. I don't like the way this.
I know what you're laughing at, Mizzy. Not yet. Soon, probably. I know. I'm with you. All right, I got a little deeper than I thought. I'm done.
Well, like John was saying, we do have a Discord server. We're just trying to get it all up and going pretty well. So it'll be, you know.
What the hell is that?
It's a new Gonzo thing, so Gonzo gets to do the thing.
What is it? Oh, Tango with
Wait.
Terry. Dang it, right when I was doing a wash, too. Look, 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 look. Here's Terry. I don't have a flower. I'd have a flower. But it's Tango with Terry. Okay.
What the fuck? We'll talk about this later.
What? It was Tango with Terry. What's wrong with Tango with Terry?
Worst tango ever.
I didn't say it was good.
Right. Anyways.
So,
What's
back
up,
to the
local
stream
sports
now.
I don't know if you guys saw, but the Angels won by the biggest amount of runs scored ever. And they hit like 3 home runs back to back to back. It's a pretty cool clip, which is how I watch baseball clips. Anyways, Albania and I wouldn't know. I haven't seen Billy Madison. I have standards.
They're low, but he does have some.
I mean, Adam Sandler's below my standards. Unless he's doing a serious movie. He actually can act. There's a lot of people like that. Surprising. Feel high again.
Octopuses
Yeah.
are weird.
There you go. Octopuses are octopi, technically. If you want to get grammar Nazi, maybe. Anyway,
Pie. I like
Pies.
pie.
pi is great, but
I mean, 3.1415, etc.
tentacles are fantastic. Tentacles are fun.
How about the local sports teams?
I can't talk on sports. I don't know anything about it.
Where's that red?
Gonzo, you might want to just change it to the media section now to save us, because this is getting...
Tentacles
I-
are gonna get brought up in the media section.
As long as it's not a Roscoe Doji, I'm okay with that.
No, it is. It is.
Really?
I mean,
John, you know what movie I watched last night? Tentacles are gonna get brought up.
yeah, but what
See,
he's asking about.
It's a mistake to think that I have the memory more than a goldfish.
Sorry, I have faith.
I
Gotta have
was
faith, the faith, the faith.
pretty much... I haven't seen that movie.
All right, I'll go and switch it over to media section. Give me a second. Let me switch everything over. Okay, Cthulhu Media? Sort of.
Hopefully not.
Nah. Ugh.
Let me just say before we start, if you're on Twitter, follow at Coach Gowron. He is fucking inspiring. It's the best.
Okay. So, media section. John says he has like 7 things this time, which is
I
good.
mean, 3. I'm not even caught up on the series I did watch.
I had a couple of things I watched this week. Sorry, I had to write those down before I forgot about them. So I got a few things that I watched. One of the things that I watched recently was I watched the new season of Star Wars Visions. Season 1 was very fun.
That's out.
Yeah. And that's how bad I feel.
Bad advertising because this is I mean, I knew they were making it. This is the first I heard it was out.
It's out. It's not that good this year. This season was not that great. The stories weren't as cool. The art wasn't as cool. I was not impressed with it this year. I was
from the announcement, it felt like it was rushed. It's like, oh, they're making new Star Wars Visions. Now you tell me they're out. I'm like, that seems like a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Maybe they were already going.
No clue. But, so I watched it. Of course, Star Wars Visions is a bunch of short stories based in the Star Wars universe. They just weren't good this time. There was like 1, maybe 2 that were decent enough to watch, but they just weren't entertaining. I was really bored with this one. And I know some of them have got to be artistic and, it's about the art more than it is the story, but it just wasn't fun. And some of them were just like, really? Can we get this one over so we can get to a better one? But there really wasn't a better one this year. So I was kind of upset.
I want to say I only watched 3 from last year. Just didn't get a chance to watch the rest. The 3 I watched were good, first 3, but,
Yeah.
Again, we say there's so much media, you can't ever be upset that you're not consuming it all.
Yeah, I mean, it was okay, but it definitely was not as good as the first one. Season 1 was really fun, really good. Season 2, it got a meh rating for me. I'm just like, okay. I can, live without it this time. So, I could have gone without it.
So that's a good quick sub-discussion. Do you think that they should slow down and make better media rather than more?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I would say that they're a victim of their own delivery system. They need to produce media because people are not, this is going to sound terrible, I'm just going to say it bluntly, people are not loyal to a streaming service, and they'll cancel it and come back in and binge what they want to watch and leave.
Oh, yeah.
And that's sort of the nature of the beast. You have to find a way to make enough. This is why you shouldn't, and I'm sorry to all you guys who binge things, you shouldn't release a whole series at once. You should release it 1 episode at a time so that people watch it 1 episode at a time, and all you have more time to keep up.
I'm going to touch on that subject, too, because I watched something like that this week also.
Cool.
But,
I did, too.
Captain Mizzy, what'd you get this week?
My first one was from Tuesday, I think. I watched the second animated Addams Family.
Okay.
It was okay. I didn't enjoy it as much as I did the first one. It was more Wednesday focused, but it was... I didn't like it. I just didn't like it. It was great. Animation was fine. Just, I think, story-wise. So, I'm going to give it a 3.
Okay. That's fair.
Like, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great.
3 sounds like you don't need to watch it unless you really love that thing.
Yeah. Or, you just need to shut your brain off and you need background noise.
It's called
That's the thing.
music. It's called music.
Sometimes
But I listen to music for 7.5 hours a day while I'm working.
Must be nice.
I got a variety.
There's a lot of musical variety out there. I understand what you mean. It's just not my way.
John, what you got?
Well, last week, before I realized, now it's funny, going to dinner with not Breccia Dave and no nickname Frank, we actually were done and I was back home in time to get on, but I took a nap because I ate too much.
Food coma.
Nice. And I only woke up because apparently there was problems with fucking Meow and I had to solve some shit. But yeah, so I watched The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen just because I was punching through Amazon Prime. Like, yeah, I'll watch that.
Nice.
That is my opinion of a movie that could have been so much better than it was.
Yeah.
All the pieces were there. It is less than some of its parts.
That's fair.
But also thinking about it, I did also think about, has there been a movie that has the sort of technology of time? I don't want to call it steampunk, but people generally call it steampunk, even though that sort of defies what cyberpunk is anyways. That's a whole other discussion. That sort of steampunk, weird technology, because this is turn of the century, 1899, and the technology is way more than it should be. Like, way more. Not a little bit more, way more. Like, most of it I can get by. Okay, you made a prototype tank, you made automatic weapons early, sure, whatever, that's not completely unheard of. The car? Nemo's car? Really? It's a little off.
A little far-fetched.
And all due respect to the design of Nemo's Nautilus, I like the one from the Disney better. Because the whole idea was mistaken for a sea monster. You're never going to mistake that fucking thing for a sea monster. It's a giant white submarine. You're never going to fucking mistake that. But anyways, all that stuff aside, it would have been terrible if it wasn't for the actors in it fucking carrying that movie. The thing is, not anyone carries it in any stream. Even Sean Connery fails at a couple points. But whenever one drops it, one of the other ones picks it up and helps carry it. Yes, Jennifer, it looked like a white whale. I guess that's why Ishmael's there. Which is a deep cut. Most people don't get that cut. But I enjoy it overall. The fun and adventure of it makes it watchable. It is barely a 2. Probably should be a 2.5 for a lot of people. But it's a 2. It's enjoyable. It's one of those just have some fun movies. Could have been so much better. But if you don't think about that, you'd be okay. But also think about, has there ever been a movie that uses that technology, like I was saying earlier, that technology out of time, that actually hit well? Because the ones I think of, and there's not many, they all didn't do well. Because, I'm thinking like the Musketeers one that used the steampunky thing didn't do well.
Mm-mm.
Though I enjoy that movie way more than this. And more on that later because I'm probably going to be watching all the different versions of the Musketeers at some point. But anyways, 2, barely. Technically, you can go 2.25 if you want to, but it's in that area. Do you mean Destro's Underlord? Do you mean Destro?
Man in the Iron Mask?
Yeah, well, he means the Phantom, who's the bad guy.
Yeah.
It's actually a red herring. Clue jokes. Much better movie. Gonzo, what's your next one?
So I started watching Fubar, which is the
Arnold one, right?
Arnold Schwarzenegger. You could actually call this True Lies 2, and you would be okay with that. Because it follows the same concept of Arnold Schwarzenegger is a spy, trying to get out of being a spy because he's super old, but can't because something comes up, and so he has to do all these other spy things along with it. And it very much has the feel of True Lies also. There's a guy sitting in in an area telling them what they said, telling them what they do, giving them all the tech, type thing. The guy in the chair, type thing. And it's actually not bad. I've gotten through like most of it. It's entertaining. It's okay. It's not great. It's already been renewed for another season, I believe, which is okay. I mean, cool.
Well, it's sort of their flagship. Arnold's been pushing it pretty hard.
Yeah. But I mean,
Um,
it reminded me when I was watching it of True Lies. And I'm like, I'm okay with that because True Lies was a good, fun show. And there's some good one-lining, Arnold quips going through it and such. But I'm okay with it. I'll give a full review, but right now I'd say it's about 1.5 type thing. But
Cool.
it's been fun. I enjoyed it. Mizzy?
So last night I was putting together Space Marines, and I needed something to watch that wouldn't distract me, that I could use as background noise, but I didn't want it to be something stupid, or so dumbed down that it wouldn't. Anyway, so I picked out a movie that I've seen like a gajillion times, can quote it, and if I was more extroverted, I could probably act out the entire thing myself. Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. I found out that I can put 8 models together in 3 hours.
Okay, that's actually not the movie I thought it was, because you said At World's End. I thought it was the fucking Simon Pegg movie. I'm like, I haven't seen. I've seen
no.
Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. That's underrated, I want to say.
Yes.
I would say anything after the first Pirates is probably underrated. People shit in a lot more than they should.
So this one is my favorite out of all of them. Like,
That's a bold
Peak.
statement.
I don't
'Cause-
care.
Because Curse of the Black Pearl, really good.
Yes, I do agree. Curse of Black Pearl. But what makes it my favorite and the best in my opinion is I love the scene with the Brethren Court and the fight scene with Barbossa in the Maelstrom.
Fair.
Peak.
There's
Like,
a lot of good stuff in it. Like I said, people shit on it more because the series didn't go the way they expected. Coming with expectations. The 2 and 3 of the Pirates movies did not go the way people expected. They were a little far afield from the first one, and it left a bad taste in people's mouth. Reminds me of other movies. Star Wars, anyone? Anyways.
Anyway, so for me and my pirate heart loving self, I'm gonna give it half a space over because I love this movie so much. Barbossa is amazing. I love him.
No,
Jack is shenanigan fun.
the cast is great in all those movies. Even Orlando Bloom, who probably needed more roles. He's in a couple movies I really like, but people only remember him as Legolas for a reason, pretty much.
Yup. So.
Cool. Yeah, I need to rewatch the 2 and 3. I haven't seen them much. I've only seen them maybe twice.
I own them, and I have been obsessed with them since they came out.
To be fair, my ex-wife took the Pirates movies in the divorce.
That's fair.
I
But
did
if you
not
got
argue with
Disney
her.
Plus, it's on there.
Fair enough. That sounds good. Guys, I watched the first episode of Strange New Worlds. I've not watched the second yet. Yes, I know it's out. Yes, I'm behind. Fuck off. It's fucking great.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck yes.
I love what they're doing with this. This is peak Star Trek. And I would not be... I'm not hesitant to say that I feel like this is better than any other Star Trek series at its peak.
I was talking to one of my coworkers, and he's a big Star Trek fan, and we talked about the first episode, and we were like, this is just great. This is good Star Trek. And people don't understand that there's a difference between good sci-fi and good Star Trek. This is good Star Trek.
This is good Star Trek. And also, they put character development in with the story.
Yeah.
Like, you learn things about characters that happened in the past as part of the story because it comes up because of the story. It's great storytelling. Like, and I know people like certain Star Trek series a lot. That's cool. But this is absolutely peak Star Trek. They just do it right. The right level of humor in with things, the right casting, people doing the right things. And I'm sure it doesn't necessarily fit perfectly in with continuity, but fuck continuity. Like, canon doesn't fucking matter except as it serves the needs of the actual series. We as nerds have gotten too far into continuity when it doesn't really matter. Like, if things don't follow continuity wise, it's fucking okay. It's just a fucking TV show.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's enjoyable. I love all the characters in it.
Oh yeah. I watched episode 2 because it's one of my Thursday night shows, and it was good too.
I've heard some stuff what goes on to that, and I mean,
yeah, it's relevant. It's relevant.
Yeah.
So
I like it. I like that they're not doing too much with a season. You know, that was sort of Discovery's thing, is seasons went a little long, and they didn't need to go that long. I don't think. So I'm happy to see. Yes, thanks, Missy. I'm happy to see that they're doing the right thing. I hope they'll just don't do it too long. I mean, fucking, I've said this multiple times. Do BBC style. You know how long a season is? As long as it fucking needs to be.
Yep.
Do we have to do one every year? You don't have to do one every year. Do one next year. Do one every 6 months if you've got a small one. Like, here's a 4-episode arc, go. All right, we're done. Here's season 3. It's only, 6 more episodes. People get upset. Don't care about how many. It doesn't matter how many episodes it is. It just matters if you enjoy them. If they tell a complete story and everything in 6 episodes, 6 episodes is fucking fine. If it takes 7, 7's fine. If it takes 10, 10 is fine. You can leave out. You can put in filler if you feel you need it, but make it add in. Like, all the quote-unquote filler episodes of season 1 of Strange New Worlds fit in. And that's sort of the joy of a Star Trek series, is if you're doing proper Star Trek, you don't need a ton of continuity. Just enough continuity. That was always Star Trek's strength, is Next Generation On is just enough continuity, was it Straczynski, and also I'll mention this in a minute, when he went to make Babylon 5, asked, all of the TV stations, maybe as he could get in touch with, hey, how do you re-show things? They're like, re-show them in order. I mean, there's an order. We just fucking show them in that order. Like, it's not like it's hard for them, right? They have a program. They just, boom, next episode, go. That's what made him make Babylon 5 and have that whole overarching story, and realize he could do that without people becoming too confused. Now, honestly, in streaming area, it doesn't matter, but it was groundbreaking to show that, and that's all you need, just enough to show, like, obviously some of the characters from season 1 aren't in anymore, and that was, a story element. And if you show them in order, people will see things. It's great. I love where they're going with it. I'm not going to rate it yet, but I mean, obviously, so far 0.
Yeah, it's been pretty good.
Yes.
I do want to do a quick one real quick before we get to our compilation that we all did. Did everybody watch the movie we were supposed to watch?
I did my homework.
I did my homework. Okay,
yeah.
Just making sure. So I watched the first episode of Secret Invasion. I'm going to hold off. But right now, I'm like, meh. So I'm just going to hold on. I'm going to hold off on rating until I at least get a few more episodes in, or at least the season's done. But I'm not like completely into it right now. Didn't catch me. Didn't make me want to watch more.
I'm interested to see how they're going to react to the, let's say, controversy.
Yeah. So we'll see. So we did have a homework assignment. We were all supposed to watch and I'm going to say, the only Crow movie out there.
It's not technically true.
True, but
To be fair, it's the only one I've seen.
I tried watching the others. But we're talking about Crow. And the reason why this subject brought up is because they're doing a remake. And we were like, oh, we need to watch that. So I own it on DVD, put it in, because I guess it was good to watch it free or
DVD.
whatever.
Slacker. I don't know, Blu-ray.
So,
Well, neither of you had to watch it with ads, so there you go.
Missy watched it with ads.
Yes.
I'm going to say this. The special effects are showing it's dated, but it's completely understandable. Does it deter? Not really, but you're looking at it like, damn, they were that bad? I'm like, yeah, they were that bad back then. But
Well, the thing is, even if you think about it from when they came out, it's not even that bad for the era,
no.
Yeah.
but you have to judge it by the era. Nowadays, like, they would do that so much better.
Yeah. Which that's the reason why I can't wait to see what they're going to do with the new one.
I would pay money to see them put it out in the theater again with just the special effects cleaned up. I'd be like, yes!
I will tell you, the soundtrack for this is legit.
Oh, yeah.
The music for this is really good.
Absolutely what the kids call bangers. And the whole album, as they say, slaps. And I think we talked about that with Zambies.
Yeah, it was appropriate for the tone, the atmosphere, everything to go with this because it's supposed to be a dark show. It's supposed to be a dark,
It's dark,
brooding.
but it's not overly dark. It is appropriately dark, and that's. It's like I get accused of only liking things with happy endings. No, I like things with appropriate endings.
Correct.
The ending to this is absolutely appropriate.
Yes.
Yes.
The whole tone of this is absolutely appropriate, and it works.
Yes.
I mean, I don't call it one of my perfect movies for no reason. And yes, the effects would be better. There's a couple things. Overall, though, from finish, if you don't change anything, I'd still like, yeah, it's a perfect movie. You don't really need to change anything.
And the characters are so good.
Yes.
They're so inappropriately wild in different spots. So inappropriately.
They're real humans.
Yeah.
Yeah, they feel like Ernie Hudson feels like he's a human with weird quirks and stuff. Like, you okay?
Yeah. But
And
it's really
it's uplifting
interesting.
in parts. It's violent, but it's not overly violent. You're surprised at how not overly violent it is. Really, there's a couple parts, but overall, you're just like, this is violence, but it's not like graphic violence. Let's say, because there's no need for it to be graphic. Your mind fills it in. And I really love it. I love that they got Brandon Lee. I don't like that he died. That was fucking terrible. But I love they got there, and he was not just doing martial arts, And it's funny because if you go to the movie before this, he was in Showdown Low Tokyo. He talked about how as the movie goes on, he's going to get more of his own. Actually, I guess 2 movies before this, he's going to get more of his own say in stunt choreography and all. He wants that. He likes martial arts more than he likes gunplay. But he understood that. He had the right look for it. The right charisma. His quips are generally on point. In fact, I'd say most of the quips in this, there's 1 or 2 that fall kind of flat, but most of them are generally on point.
And he also had the right build too, because the Crow's not supposed to. I've read a few of the comics and stuff like that. It was never this, big hulking, badass. It was just
he's wiry.
Yeah,
he's wiry.
Best way to put it. He's wiry.
Well, I put in the same movie for that too. It's great.
Yeah. The one thing that I remember, and I know it's a quote from someone else, was when he did the line, was it "Mother's the name of God and the lips of and hearts of children?" And I was like, that scene, I was like, oh, damn.
That scene hit me this time too. It's such an important scene because you're like, oh shit, he's just fucking murdering people. Then you stop. No, that's not what he's all about.
Correct.
And that helps you realize, okay, you'd get it otherwise, but that's sort of helps you realize, okay, he's not just about murdering fuckers. He's murdering these fuckers, and they all deserved it. I'm not going to lie.
He's about setting things right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Vengeance. And, while I agree to an extent for the living, vengeance is not necessarily a fulfilling thing. Sometimes that shit just needs to be done.
It was done so well because in the fight scenes, the gun scenes at the big table and such, that
they're a little silly at points, but they're internally consistent.
Correct. They're appropriate for the movie.
Yes,
in my opinion. And I would watch it and I was like, damn, I forgot how fun this movie is and how just engrossing things are in this movie.
And it's a great 3-act structure.
Yep.
It's not like the whole, the bare bones. It's the hero shows up, the hero does the thing he has to do, Then the hero does a thing he didn't realize he had to do as a result of what he did. It's a great 3-act structure. It feels a little disjointed because of that, but it fits when you get there. It's a shorter movie too. It's only like an hour and a half, hour 45. You could probably have made it a little bit longer, and you wouldn't have got a lot of filler because the bad guy's not filled out as much. But I mean, you can't give him too much screen time, or he'll fucking steal the show.
Oh no shit.
Like he knew what movie he was in, and he went fucking hard.
Oh yeah.
Like his whole crew. I mean, a lot of people are caricatures, but that's necessary in a movie to get the point across. Like the detective who's at odds with Ernie Hudson's character, and Ernie Hudson's fucking great in this.
Yes.
Yes.
The detective who goes at odds with him is a bit of a caricature, but you know, it fits and it gets the point across.
I'm hoping that the remake it does itself justice like this, because it's not about.
It's entirely possible.
Yeah, because it's not about, you know, the Crow is not about being this big badass that kills everybody and so on and so forth. It's about the story of why the Crow is like this and why the Crow has to do it.
Like I said, that's the point that hits. It's about the never sacrifices the story and idea of the story for gratuitous violence.
Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah, same here.
It's a perfect movie.
Yep.
I watch it literally. I try to watch it every fucking Halloween.
Yeah, super good.
If Alvar's involved in it, that's good. He was kind of traumatized by the first one, understandably.
Yeah.
Fair.
Rest in peace.
You know, and I feel for everyone involved in that production. It was, you know, and it was ironic that he sort of dies in the way that one of his father's characters was killed in a movie, or faked his death in a movie. It's weird, but he is. You know, you always talk about that actor that you wish had not gone so soon. Him, he's fucking great.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean, you know, is it Alexander Skarsgård? I can't remember which one that's going to be playing the new Crow. He has the build. He's a tall, lanky, you know, whatever type person, and
Hang on.
he also, you know, he played.
as long as they hire the stunt team,
Yeah.
hire a good stunt team. You don't have Brandon Lee probably
Bill.
doing a good
I thought.
most of his own stunts. Hire a good stunt team. It goes a long way.
Yeah, and I mean, he did really good, you know, at playing, you know, the clown in It, and it being creepy, and he's got the body, you know, and everything.
I think I only saw him in Godzilla vs. Kong.
Yeah.
No, Bill played in It. It's Alexander who's doing Crow.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Which one of them was Godzilla vs. Kong?
Hold on.
That's the one I've seen. I think in recollection they both have the right build, but
Yeah, I think Alexander.
Yeah, they're very similar.
I think Alexander's much taller.
looks like they're
though.
related.
Yeah,
What?
they're brothers.
Just making a joke. But yeah, Zero. Perfect
Anyway.
movie. I watch it every year. I would actually even take this time to suggest watch all of Brandon Lee's stuff.
Yeah.
Shadow No Little Tokyo's got a couple points that are a little too 90s. They're a little sketchy as far as content, but overall it's a very good movie. And Rapid Fire, his only other solo outing, top build, it's fucking great. I love it.
Alexander played in Godzilla vs. Kong.
Very well. That's what I've seen. Yay.
Yeah, he was also, what was the vampire
The
show?
Northman.
Northman.
True Blood.
True Blood. He's got the build.
Yeah.
I haven't seen either of those.
He was in Zoolander.
Very much haven't seen that. I have standards.
Didn't know he was in that, but
You also didn't say standards about the other two. Those seem okay. Zoolander?
one thing I want to talk about before we get to the end of the show is season 2 of The Bear came out this week. If you didn't watch season 1, it's about, you know, a restaurant, you know, so on and so forth, and line cooks and everything else. Season 1 was really, really good. I enjoyed the shit out of it. It had great acting, great writing, so on and so forth. Season 2 came out, and they put out the entire season at one time. So, my brain, I binge watched the whole thing. Which isn't bad for me because I was doing other things because I can do other things well. But this season wasn't as good as the last one. Not nearly as good. There was a lot of offshoots and weird things going on and a lot of flashbacks, and I was not happy with this season. Was it good? It was okay. It was more of a 2.5 meh type thing, but it got really good at the last episode. And it was like, shit, why wasn't it this, through the entire season? But I was kind of disappointed in this season. It was just okay. But it was weird seeing this because this was just a Hulu show. I'm used to it like an entire season on Netflix. That's common. But on Hulu, I was like, put out the entire season at once? You could have. But, that's what's hitting nowadays is just throw out the entire season on a lot of these networks. And I'm with you on there are certain shows or programs that need to be brought out weekly so they capture the audience and hold the audience. But this show could have helped. It probably could have done better if it was done as a weekly type thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're still in the formative stages, no matter how long we're into it, of series here, because they don't know what they're fucking doing. Some they're doing one, some they're doing two, some they start with 2 episodes, and this whole, it didn't do as we want, we're going to take it off. Was it Grease, Rise of the Pink Ladies, or whatever the fuck it is? They did a season, didn't do well, they're taking it fucking off. You won't be able to watch it. Like, what the fuck good does that do for your thing? Maybe people will be interested in that.
Yeah,
all it does is make you not realize if maybe you misjudged it. I think what they're trying to do, if I'm reading later, is trying to get people to watch it immediately. But it's not going to work. We don't have time like that.
Mm-mm.
I think they understand that. Like Disney taking Willow off serves Disney no good.
No.
All it does is make us go, "Oh, fuckers, what are you doing?"
I don't
maybe
understand.
We want to rewatch it. Maybe we enjoyed it and we want to fucking rewatch it.
That's something I don't understand about is removing a show off of the air.
The only thing I think about is they're trying to make it go like, you need to watch it when it comes out or else. Like, well, fuck you. I won't watch it at all. How about that, motherfucker? I'll cancel your service. By having those series there afterwards, all you do is get people to come and pay money to watch your service. Like, you're never going to be, and in my opinion right now, Disney Plus is pretty good for keeping all year round. They keep a pretty good steady thing. And then Paramount Plus pretty good. The rest, maybe not so much. I mean, I think maybe Max just because there's so much on it.
Yeah.
But if you keep doing this shit, people will cancel your shit. Like Disney, you may say you in my hot childhood. You don't think I can't cut that shit off right away? I barely get time to watch TV as it is. I still buy fucking DVDs and Blu-rays, son. I'll be okay. I just don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I want them to figure out what they're doing so that we can understand where we're at. And I don't think every fucking company having their own streaming service is going to work.
Eventually people are just going to turn stuff off.
Yeah, it's cable, but we get to pick and choose what we watch when we want to watch it. But we don't all want to pay, at $10 a month sometimes now. We don't all want to pay like $60 a month. Fuck that. We're not gonna. We're gonna come in, take what we want, and leave. And then you're in the hard thing of like, we're gonna only have our stuff available for a short time. Then no one will ever come to your fucking streaming service. You're gonna do the opposite. You think taking Willow off and shit like that's gonna work? It's not. Now the people were like, oh, I kind of want to see that Willow System series and have a chance. Oh well, no fucking point in getting Disney Plus for that now. Fuck off.
Yeah, no need to. If I can't watch it,
no.
What's the point?
It's like if Apple TV took
Ted Lasso off.
Just finished my brain. Ted Lasso off. Well, never buying your service. Fuck off. And don't think we can't hold a grudge. We can fucking hold a grudge. We know how. I may not look like a dwarf, but motherfucker, I can hold a grudge like a dwarf. I remember. But yeah, so I mean, I want people to watch what the stuff they like as it comes out, but don't don't change your life. Feel you have to. If you've only got space for 3 series and there's 4 series out, let fucking one of them go. It's okay. You have to have balance in your life with all your media consumption. You need to play your video games. You need to do your in-person stuff. You need to watch your TV. You need to watch your YouTube. There's stuff on YouTube you want to watch. Watch it all, and then just pace yourself on it. It's okay. If you got a day off and you want to fucking go all in on something, cool. But don't do it all the time. It's not healthy. Sometimes that, and I think that might be a case with the one Gonzo was talking about, Bear, I think it was. Sometimes you need that end of episode, man, I gotta wait a week for the next episode. I cannot wait.
Correct.
Sometimes
Like
you need
Star
that.
Trek. I'm ready for a new Star Trek.
I'm only doing it slow because I want to pace myself. I don't want to get too far in. And a lot of things I'm trying to balance right now.
Yeah.
But you have to do that stuff. So do what is right for you. Try not to go too far at once. And then, don't forget that these places have contacts. If you fucking think they're doing stupid stuff, fucking email and tell them they're doing stupid stuff. I guarantee you someone reports that shit. As someone who does customer service for an organization, I report every email, no matter how stupid. Example, just to close up the show, one of my clients did a Pride shirt. And some motherfuckers were like, I can't believe you're doing this woke-ass shit. Yes, I sent that entirely worthless fucking bitching email to my boss. And I'm like, hey, sir, here's what some people have said. Granted, it was 6 people in total, and those fuckers can go fuck off.
Fuck off.
But it's not even like it's just in rainbow colors for Pride Month. But people will listen to that. So if you have complaints, fucking send them. I guarantee you there's some way of getting those things to the end so they can see it. They crave that shit. That's half the problem. They don't know what we're thinking. They're fucking trying to guess. Anyways, I'm John.
Guys, we appreciate you coming out. It is the end of the show. We appreciate you listening, whether it's here or all the other streaming services we have, or live. And if you want, come and check us out live. We have a good time. And if you see us out somewhere, don't be afraid to say hi. I mean,
We don't bite. Let's ask nicely.
Only on days ending in Y. Do we?
And only if you ask nicely.
Consent is a thing. But guys, please take care of yourself.
And each other.
And
Take care of
each other.
too.
Yeah, look after your buddies. If you know if something's going on, check in on everybody. I did a check-in this week from like a bunch of friends that I haven't talked to in a while, and I haven't seen anything from them on Facebook in a while. I was like, hey, you doing okay? Yeah, I'm just really busy. I'm like, okay, that's good. Just make sure you check in on people.
When you think about it, do it. Check in.
Check in. Do we have anybody that we need to send anybody to? What are we looking at on our channels?
The only people I have are streaming MechWarrior Online. But if you want, Aggie Law Girl's pretty cool. She could use the followers.
Send me the name in chat so I can see it. That way I can type it in correctly.
Sure. I mean, do you know what an Aggie is? As in the Aggies?
Just type it in chat. Guys, we'll send you on to Aggie. Oh, you typed it there. You could have typed it in regular chat. So, make sure you check in each other.
The chat between us is the chat between us. That's the chat between everyone. There's nothing to see that.
All right. For More Than Dice, I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
I'm Captain Busy.
Good night, everyone. We love you.
Good night. I ranted too long. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry, but I'm sorry.
But we love your rants.
I hope so.